option, yeah.
But that need not be done.
RBI can write to me and ask.
They can ask you to disinvest. No, then.
How can they ask you now?
Once you go for post-investment changes or you intimate them, they said that for complying you disinvest.
The
Then
APR is only an intimation. Post-investment, everything ODI form is an intimation. It doesn't. It's not an approval which I'm asking from you. So what they can do is just take it on record. That's all.
I think shall we proceed to the next one, and we, if time permits, we'll come back to this one.
so here I have 3 investments, one in UK, one in US and one in Singapore. So here I have not filed an APR for one of my investment in UK for last 2 years. And now I want to invest in US entity. So one of the condition under automatic route is that all the APRs are required to be filed. So here I will face a problem in terms of my subsequent investment. So what is the option here? So one is either you compound and file the APRs and then go under the automatic route, or can I directly go for the approval route without doing all of that? So I am saying
Go for approval. You can't go direct for approval.
here the question is that I have invested in 3 subsidiaries. In UK, for the UK company, I am not filing my APR for last 2 years. Now I want to make a fresh investment or additional investment in my US company. So whether I can go under automatic route, because automatic route says that all the APRs are required to be filed. So one option is you go compound your offense saying that I have not filed, I will file it and whatever it is you sort it out and then go for the automatic route, or without doing this I can directly approach RBI.
You have to go for approval.
So you are saying you invest and go for both the offense together? I think so. The answer should be regularize the APR and then go.
First complete the offense.
So here we are seeing a newly incorporated company as on 1st April 2014 and wants to make an investment, not let's say June or July, and it has to calculate net worth as per its last audited balance sheet. And what do I do here?
Audit in between.
So earlier that is the answer probably, but earlier it was easier with the new Companies Act coming in. You require company law or permission for changing that accounting year, so it will become more so difficult here.
I'm not changing my accounting year.
So you will get the audit done for interim period.
The word is the last audited balance sheet, not the you can draw balance sheet at any date.
So here is the example which we were discussing in terms of that gentleman had raised a question also, that what if I have a subsidiary where I am holding 51% or more, and now I want to invest in a foreign company, and my net worth is, one scenario is my net worth is 50 crore and net worth of my Indian subsidiary is minus 60 crores. So how much can I invest in UK? Second option is I have a negative net worth of minus 50 crores and the foreign company and the subsidiary has a positive net worth of 100 crores. So what is the investment I can do under both the scenarios? Sorry?
It's not your subsidiary.
In the first scenario, doesn't
And in the second scenario?
consider it. Consider it. It's an option available.
Yeah, so I also agree with the answer. It is an option available to me. So I can exercise that option. In the first case, I will not exercise. In the second case, I will exercise.
My question was slightly different.
Sorry.
My question was on that one. My net worth is I'm having losses. If my paid up capital plus reserves, in reserves there are losses. So if two scenarios, if my paid up capital is let's say 100 crores, my loss is 120 crores. And situation 2, my paid up capital is 100 crores, my loss is 80 crores. What is my net worth in both the circumstances?
So there has to be total addition.
First is negative. You will not be able to invest. Second, up to 20 crores.
So in first case, it has to be negative. Will it be taken
So
as
you're
a
talking
negative?
about your company itself,
Yes,
not the
yes.
subsidiary.
Not the
So
subsidiary.
it's addition, no? It's says paid up capital plus free reserves.
In case of negative, I cannot.
Yeah, so there is no option there that whether I want to consider free reserves or not. So here one more scenario is that Mr. A is a resident of India working in an MNC. Mr. B is also working with the same MNC, but he is outside India and he is working for the foreign company. Both are granted ESOPs, and since B is in that country, he pays the consideration of $1 each on behalf of Mr. A. Whether this is allowed? Gift of shares. Can I say it is gift of shares?
It is paid on behalf. It is not paid.
It is for a consideration of gift.
Ultimately, I have to pay, which I cannot pay.
So here are the issues whether it's a gift of shares or gift of money.
It is neither. It's a loan. It is paid on my behalf.
Yeah.
Ultimately, I have to pay. So it is neither gift of share nor gift of money.
So how will I be able to do this transaction?
You can't do it.
Yeah. So it would be,
Are they related?
they would be friends, not related. So then there is no gift angle.
So in this case, will A have to file the ODI?
So here, I think so he would have to because it is getting shares. But first the transaction is only not permitted.
So suppose A would have
Remitted.
directly from foreign company
Then-
without payment. Then will he have to comply with the
No, then gift of shares is allowed. ESOP is allowed.
so it is allowed, but question is whether the ODI has to be filed or no.
No. Here, this is a one more that I have investment overseas. Now an Indian party wants to purchase those shares, complying with all the conditions. Whether I can do this transaction in INR.
Transfer of share between two resident Indian companies.
Both are eligible parties.
Subject to certain terms and conditions.
But there is no flow of foreign exchange. And what will I report in my form ODI, which charges for the foreign
Part
currency
4
valuation?
is INR foreign currency equivalent to
You
INR.
will convert on your own and do it,
Yes.
even though the investment is changing hands in INR.
Yes.
I think so.
So
This
the question is, it has to be in INR, no? Or can it be in foreign exchange?
it has to be in foreign exchange, no? Because that's what I report.
Both the companies are in India,
No, it is transferring investment in a foreign company.
Agreed.
but both the companies buyer and seller are in India.
Yes.
Is it not that the payment has to be in
No,
INR?
not necessarily. I can purchase and do an investment and sell because the conditions required. So I may have a practical difficulty in terms of what I report. So that practically people take, I convert and report.
Reporting is one part, but what about the transaction? Actual transaction?
Can I
Can
purchase foreign
that?
currency to give it to some Indian himself?
So I can say no, it is for my ODI investment.
Agreed. But when between two resident Indians, can there be a foreign currency transaction other than those specifically allowed otherwise?
I think so for this, they may be able to do it.
It has to be only specific transactions like in diamond market they have given the diamond dollar
Yeah.
account. You can take otherwise.
And here the question is whether the H company required to be a net worth criteria?
Yeah, that all conditions remain. Yeah, I think so. This was the last slide.
We still have some time. Any questions from the speaker? I think yesterday's voting effect continues today. Nishit bhai, you mentioned that post lunch the effect seems that everyone is alert and there are a lot of question and answer and interaction between the speaker and the audience. And I request in view of that, Deepen to propose the vote of thanks.
Dear friends, overseas direct investment is quite important in terms of, in comparison with FDI also. In one of the last years, India is the second highest foreign direct investor in UK after USA. So, understanding the subject is very important for everybody who is sitting in the conference room. And our speaker has made his best attempt and he did very good, wonderful job. In just 47 slides, he covered complete master circular, notification, FAQs, and I would like to bring one small example before you. The basic nitty-gritty of the subject. He mentioned one small point, the definition of the investigating agency. You know, he make a very crucial point. If an Indian company is under an investigation of the income tax department, then it could not be called is under an investigation agency. Let's say A Limited, a raid has been occurred, and A Limited wants to make an overseas investment. That particular income tax raid would not create any hurdle for that overseas direct investment. But if it is a CBI raid, then in such a situation, then Indian company has to approach to the Reserve Bank of India. The very fine-tuned distinction which the learned speaker has made, and I request all of you kindly join me and deliver a very hearty vote of thanks.
We break for tea for about 10-15 minutes. We reassemble. Thank you. And please note, today we have the session.